Hi guys, it's Emma
and Maggie.
and welcome back to another episode of Love You Bye. Our guest today is someone who we're so excited to have on. I've been so excited about this and it's honestly been something that we've wanted to do for a while and we can't wait to get into all the conversations and questions that we have. So please welcome today's guest, Paige Lorenze.
Hi guys, this is so exciting. It's kind of crazy because I've known you guys for so long and we've never actually all sat down and recorded something.
Okay, I feel like our friendship is not social media. Like when we're like with each other, it's not like, okay, like let's film,
Phones
let's
are
do this,
away.
let's do this. It's like we hang out. So This is our first time actually doing something for the public.
I'm so excited. And before we get into the episode, we're going to start off with the peak and the pit of the week. Paige, we do this every single episode. We talk about one, obviously, peak and then one pit that you had during that week and we share it, and that's something that we do at the beginning of every single episode. So if you want to start it off and go first,
okay,
take it away.
This is a pretty easy one and like nothing too like crazy. I just had a Friendsgiving, so that was my peak, and I saw Emma and my friends, so that was really cool that I had everyone to my house, mainly from New York City since I had left New York, so that was really cool. And my pit was my boyfriend leaving this morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
I know. He went back to Florida. He has to train. Tennis players don't have any off time, so he kind of always has to be training, and he can't train in Connecticut, so he had to go back to Florida.
When do you get to see him next?
Like after going to Switzerland on the 5th, and then after I get back, so like over a week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. So he lives in Florida?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun that you can like go visit him and it's somewhere warm.
Totally. So it is really nice, especially because winters in New England can tend to be a little bit tough. Like I love this season, super into it, but the months where there's no snow and it's just cold.
Gray and cold.
Gray.
And it gets dark at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love it here when it's snowy and cold, but like ugly gray and cold is not my
not
thing.
it.
So
Yeah, I feel that.
Maggie, do you want to go next?
Sure. Okay. I'm going to start off with my pit, honestly, because I just want to get it out of the way. Guys, this is so embarrassing. Like, I can't even believe that I'm going to be saying this and people are going to be hearing me say this. So today is December 1st, which is the first day of Vlogmas, and it's the busiest time of year. And I just feel like for me, the past like few weeks has been crazy. And I think yesterday I just got really excited for Vlogmas, and our first episode of the podcast officially launched yesterday, and I decided to celebrate with Graydon. And we were drinking champagne, and then we decided to go out and get drinks after, and one thing led to another, and I woke up this morning on my bathroom floor, and I don't know how I got there. Like, I literally think that I might have got in my bed, and I was like, I don't feel good. Like, I don't want to like be in my bed right now. Like, I needed something like cold. Guys, I was slept on the bathroom floor with a blanket.
No,
I don't know. And
I wish I could say I haven't done that, but I've been there.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my God, did this really happen to me on the first
I woke
Vlogmas?
up with a wedding ring on my finger.
What?
Your fake wedding ring was on
Oh my God, the fake one that I bought off Amazon?
I was like, why do I have a rock on my finger?
Wait, Maggie,
funny.
did you start your vlog from the floor of the bathroom being like, hey guys?
I wish.
You should.
I really wish I did. I couldn't even find my purse. I was like, how did this happen? Literally, it was Wednesday night dinner and we were making fried chicken sandwiches. And like, then I woke up on the bathroom floor. But I feel so much better. Like, I took a shower and I just like had a good morning. That was a low. But anyway, what is my peak? Probably that, honestly, I started using a new face wash and it has made my skin like clear up. And I've just been struggling with my skin for like a really long time. And it's something that I'm like so self-conscious about. And I started using this new cleanser by what is that brand? Like OC?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know
But
it.
I started using a cleanser by them. And honestly, I had like really inflamed skin and like all of the inflammation went down. And I am really happy about that. So that's my peak.
Love that.
I'd have to say my pit is that, I mean, I did go out with you and Graydon last night to get drinks, a couple, and I woke up and I went to go FaceTime one of my friends, and then I accidentally started FaceTiming a guy
No.
that I wasn't supposed to be calling.
Wait, why is it that like you can call someone on FaceTime for 2 seconds and
2
it
seconds,
actually
they
calls
still
them?
get the notification.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. They don't give you
yeah.
any buffer. They give you zero
my
buffer.
heart, I'm very anxious right now because I literally pressed FaceTime to him.
No.
And I
No, that's
wasn't
really
supposed
upsetting.
to FaceTime him, and he's going to think I'm crazy. He's going to think I'm crazy.
I have a pit for you.
Yeah. And then
And why do I feel
so-
like I know who it is?
You know who it is.
I know, why do I
exactly
feel
who
like
it
I get
is.
to?
Who
But
you called Monday night, or
Oops.
like he's gonna be like, wait, why is no.
No.
I obviously couldn't be like, hey, sorry, didn't mean to call you. Like that's just so awkward. I ate it and I just had to leave. Anyway, my peak would have to be the fact that it was sunny today. I just really enjoyed that it was sunny.
Really?
Woke
I
up
don't see
and
sun.
oh, it's sunny over here.
Oh, okay.
Well, this morning I went outside and I walked to get coffee and I could feel the sun on my skin, which was nice.
Emma, you're a literal solar panel. Like I've never met someone that like you in the sun, like are
My
one.
skin needs to touch the sun or else
Yeah.
like I just don't feel joy.
I know, literally.
So, which, anyway.
So let's get into the episode. I think that we should start off. Paige, you can introduce yourself, where you grew up, and where you live now, and just kind of tell us about you.
So I'm Paige. I'm originally from Connecticut, but I grew up mainly going to school in Vermont. I was a ski racer, lived up in the mountains until college, quit ski racing, moved to New York City, became an influencer, and I've moved around a lot, honestly. Like I say I lived in New York City, but I honestly have lived in every, I feel like, major city in the United States, like besides the Midwest. But I'm in Connecticut now. And I love it. I have like my own house now and I'm super happy. That was like the worst intro, but my story is so complicated. When people ask me where I'm from, I'm like,
I feel like you've lived in so many different places, and like
So
since we met, I feel like you've been literally everywhere.
Oh, everywhere.
No, I know.
Where was your favorite
I've tried
place
it
that
all.
you've lived?
Technically, in theory, I think the quality of life is the highest in California. And like the weather and it's crazy how you can go from surfing in the morning to being in the mountains in the afternoon to being in the desert. Like they have it all. California has it all. The food, the freshness of the food, people like
The
don't
workouts,
love.
like the walking.
Yeah, and the fact that there's surfing, like I was surfing in the morning and horseback riding in the afternoon. It was crazy. The reality is that as much as I love California, it is just never going to be home ever. And it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't feel like home to me. Growing up in New England, I think you guys can probably like resonate with this, is that California feels like there's nothing about it that's homey to me.
I feel like you're an East Coast girl.
I am.
Totally.
I am. And I think that, I don't know. Yeah, the older I get, the more I'm so proud of where I'm from. And I think that's a really cool thing to like have a lot of pride for whatever. People like, wait, this is also another tangent, but when I moved to Connecticut, people were so surprised by my content, how pretty Connecticut was. And they're like, this isn't the Connecticut that I know. I'll go, yeah, I'm not in Bridgeport or like Stamford, which is a little more city and a little less like cottagey and cute. And coastal Connecticut is absolutely gorgeous. And I think why there's this misunderstanding of like, where even are you? Where are you living? Because I didn't know Connecticut looked like this, is that no influencers live in Connecticut. No influencers even live in the Cape. So like when people are like, wow, the Cape is so gorgeous, people who have never been, they're so surprised by that I'm from Connecticut and how beautiful, and like how, there's so like a lot of horses and barns and really old, beautiful houses. And I think the reason why people are so confused is because it's just not documented. There are no movies on Connecticut besides Gilmore Girls. Like there's nothing on Connecticut, but like Connecticut is seriously like one of my favorite places because it's on the water, close to New York, but not like in New York, and close to major airports. And I love the season. So
I love it too.
I love that you moved there and are showing your life like not in a city, because I feel like with social media nowadays, everybody lives in New York, everybody lives in LA, and they all do the same things, go to the same restaurants, go to events all the time. You are just living your most like authentic and like wholesome life and just doing like what makes you happy. And I feel like the fact that you did that and you made that move this year, I really think is going to like inspire a lot of other creators and make other people realize like, wait, why am I actually living in a city if I don't want to? Like, I feel like people, when they become influencers, you feel like you need to live in a city because there's so much going on with events and work and stuff, and you just have more to show. But I feel like you're gonna like start a trend of people like moving back to their hometown.
Well, that's really sweet. I feel like I wish I saw someone do what I did this year, like 4 years ago, because
Yeah.
I really felt like I had to be in New York. And it was actually I went to Nantucket with my family, and we grew up going to Nantucket, and I went with my family for 2 weeks this summer. And I noticed I was really working hard on like making content every single day. And I realized my content when I'm in a house and doing things that I love, I was like cooking, going to the farmer's market, I was surfing, I was going to the beach. I was like, this is what they want to see. Like every single day, all of that content was getting a crazy positive reaction, way more positive than any of my New York content. And I was like, okay, like I can do this. And I think people don't realize that.
They want to be able to see like everyday stuff. I feel like you think, okay, well, I need to show all of these crazy things because this is my job. But at the same time, like really people are like so sick of seeing that. They're so sick of seeing
people
like
don't want to see
products
that.
shoved in your face and like going out to dinner every single night, like just things that like aren't relatable. Everybody like they really love like the wholesome at home like cooking content and stuff like that. I love that. And how did you begin being an influencer? Like how did you decide that you wanted that to be like your career path? Because now you have a brand, Dairy Boy, which is so amazing that you've been able to take your platform and your audience and then create such a successful brand from it. Like I literally see people in Boston that I don't even know walking around and they are wearing like the first sweatshirts that you came out with.
Our
like
brother sent a photo.
I see people all the time wearing them. And like how did you decide that you wanted to even get started with being a content creator? Because I know that you grew up skiing, and I feel like
that's like two completely different things.
Opposite.
It's funny because in the skiing, surfing, outdoor world, like people take a lot of video, but it's a lot of like GoPro video and stuff. So when I was younger, I was always making these skiing edits, like these videos to music and with us skiing and on the mountain. And I always had a bunch of cameras. And I was always taking photos and making videos, but it wasn't for anything. It was honestly just for like my friends and I don't know. I always just was really into visual stuff, visual art, like photography, video, graphic stuff. And I feel like when I moved to New York City, there weren't like a group of New York influencers. It was like a few big names and then no one was really doing it. So I feel like I saw a space for me because I was like, and now there are so many, but when I
especially with TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, well, TikTok, that's a whole nother thing that's been really cool for me because I actually like video more than photos. So editing and making vlogs for TikTok has been so fun for me. But I honestly just kept doing what I was doing in high school, but I actually started sharing. And I'm like a big curator. Like I love curating my space, my home, my everything. So I started doing that. And honestly, when I started getting followers was when my stuff was getting posted to Pinterest. I also just feel like I got in before TikTok and I got in like before, which you guys did too, like before a wave where like people started feeling more inspired to be more like creative and share, which I think is so cool. Like now so many people are doing it, but when I started, it was like not that cool and people would like judge me and stuff and be like, no one cares. Like, why are you sharing? Why are you posting so many photos of just yourself? Like you're whatever. And I never really cared, which is also cool because like I went to school with my graduating class was like 12 kids. So I honestly like didn't have enough people, like not enough people were hating on me where I didn't have people like in my ear being like, you know, judging me until like I started growing. But I feel like because my circle was so small, I was able to kind of just like try it. Like I just tried it and it worked, which is really nice. And I feel really lucky. And then I kind of just kept going with it and stayed consistent, which I think you guys can also relate to. Like you guys have stayed consistent since you were in high school. And I think that's now like you are where you are because of that consistency and that hard work. And I honestly have the most respect for people who do video on socials because I know how much harder it is. And yeah, I think YouTube also was big for me. Although my YouTube wasn't huge, it like created this kind of cult following of people who felt like they really, really knew me.
YouTube shows a completely different side of your life. That's like it deep dives into, which it's great to just like post on TikTok and Instagram because TikTok's like such a short little clip of like 3 minutes. But I feel like your vlogs, people love seeing that because it shows a lot more of your life, which is like you have such just like a special, like unique life because you're just the way that you are and the things that you're into and what you like to do isn't like I don't know many people who like are into horseback riding, but also like get up and can go ski down a mountain really fast and like do all this like crazy stuff, but also like be such like a funny person. So I feel like that your YouTube does very, very, very well, and you need to start posting more on it.
I know. Imagine I just like did Vlogmas. Like I decided like right
Do
now
it.
that I'm like starting it.
No, like actually like start right now.
No, like literally.
And how did you get started with your brand Dairy Boy? Like, how did that idea come about? Because I feel like it's been so successful and people really love it. And I feel like it's very unique. Like, it's not something that anyone like has ever done. And it's just really
weird.
cool.
It is cool. And I always say like the people that get it, and the people that don't. Because I do get like a lot of questions like, what is this? And there is a story behind it. So I went through a phase two summers ago, summer and a half ago. I don't know. Like it was sometime like over a year ago where I was talking a lot of my stories. Like I was talking to the camera, and I remember just like I was getting coffee one morning and I was like, I was experimenting with some diets to see what made my body feel better. And I tried oat milk and I was like, guys, this is so gross. Like, cause I'm the type of girl that will like have a glass of milk like in the morning. Like it's like, you know, people think that's like actually jail, but I was like, this is so gross, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not doing this. And I was like, it's Dairy Girl Summer because it was Hot Girl Summer. That was the summer of Hot Girl Summer. And I was like, it's Dairy Girl Summer. Then like 2 people responded and were like, can you put this on a hat? And I was like, yeah. And I made one for myself. Like, yeah, it is Dairy Girl Summer. Like, I like cheese. I drink regular milk. And like, why is it like a crime that I can't have like a glass of milk? Like, you guys are weird. Like, I don't know. I also started doing like a little bit of like research into the alternatives and how unhealthy a lot of them are if you don't do it, like drink the proper ones. So yeah, Dairy Girl Summer. And then I made the hat, and then this company reached out to me that does merch, and I wasn't even planning on doing merch. And they were like, do you want us to basically manufacture this for you and get you a website and whatever? And I was like, okay. I had to put no stake into it. I was like, all right, launched it, sold like over 1,000 of these hats. And then I was like, okay, we're on to something. Like the girls get it. And I was also like, it was really cool because at that point I realized like my followers are a lot like, honestly, a lot of girls that didn't live in a major city, a lot of girls that weren't following a lot of the LA like trendy diets. And even when I have steak on my story, people are like, thank you for posting red meat. I'm like, guys, I'm not like reinventing the wheel here, but you're welcome. But like, you know, but yeah, I think it was refreshing for people to see just a girl like not having like a skinny oat milk, whatever. And then I really liked it. Looking at it, Vermont is like a state with a ton of farms and a lot of dairy farms. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. I like Dairy Girl. This makes me feel like at home. Like even the name, I was like, I like feel connected to it. And then I kind of just kept going with it. And I always wanted to start a brand. I just didn't know what that was going to be called. I was thinking something with my last name, but then I didn't really like that. And I always wanted to make boyfriend kind of clothes and jeans because as an athlete, I was always wearing like just the baggiest, most comfy stuff. And I wanted to make a brand that, you know, girls who looked at something and were like, I could never pull that off. I could never wear those baggy jeans. Will put them on and be like, I actually can. I loved brand names like Goop or like Boyish. And I liked the kind of tomboy, like random ring word, like a word that means something that is completely removed. So I was like, okay, I like this, but I didn't want Dairy Girl because I'm not like super girly. And I loved Dairy Boy. It's just like, there was an evolution, you know, but I liked boy because I liked the tomboy kind of word, like the word boy. I prefer it over girl as a brand. So yeah, and now we're here. And now I just like did a camo hat drop yesterday, which was awesome. And
the camo hats are my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, those
Maggie,
ones are really, really cool.
They're so good.
What do you have planned or do you envision? Wait, hold on, let me re-say that. What's something that you want to do next with your brand? Like how do you see it evolving over the next, say, like 5 years?
So I've been in the process of making and like designing denim. So actually I have a sample behind me. I'm making denim and I'm making like the first one I'm going to launch is like boyfriend jeans. I had no idea like what it took. I have so much respect now. The sampling, the buttons, like the details that go into making something crazy. But yeah, I'm going to be launching denim hopefully in a few months. And I really want to do denim. Like I think denim is the coolest thing ever. Like for me, my what I'm most like proud of in my closet is like the vintage and good denim I've collected my whole life. But like no, there's nothing to me that makes me feel more confident than a jean that fits me well. So I really wanted to get into that space. I also love how universal denim is. Everyone wears denim. Our dads wear denim, you know, workers wear denim, fashion people wear denim, and it's just very all encompassing and universal. And denim's a really cool thing. I'm really into it, and I feel like it suits my personality. So that's where the brand is going right now. So that's cool.
I love that. That's so exciting. I feel like also when you think of people who create content and like influencers, when they come out with a brand, I feel like nobody has ever done that, like denim. And I feel like it's just so different.
Yeah.
It really sets you apart from everybody else.
I looked at the space and I was like, who else has done this? Like Khloe Kardashian has good American, you know, but I felt like there's a place for me in the industry, you know, like I felt like there was a opportunity there. Like not an influencer has really done denim.
And I feel like it's going to be really cool because it's going to have your vibe to it. Because I feel like
I have like my tattoo is honest. This is a sample. Like this is my tattoo.
Oh
so
my
like
God, I
it's
love
the same
that.
as like this.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? So like it's gonna be like
that.
very special and detail oriented.
Wait,
I feel like
I'm
the
so
fit is going to be
excited.
amazing.
Yeah, you guys are gonna die. You guys like honestly, when I picture the people, like my people in them, it's you two. So
Oh my God, yay.
Oh.
I can't wait.
I know, I'm so excited.
I guess we can switch things up a little bit since I feel like everybody now knows who you are, what you do, all about your brand. We can get a little bit more like personal and just about like life. So I guess, well, we should talk about how we met first of all.
Yes.
I feel like people would be
I want to
so
hear everyone's
confused
story on this.
because I feel like it just is one of those things where we didn't meet because we were all influencers. I feel like it just was so random. Your pictures used to come up, like it must have been when you were going viral on Pinterest, because I would see your pictures. And I remember, I think I said to Emma, I'm like, oh, I saw this girl went to this place in New York and you had like tagged something. And I was like, I saved this picture, like we need to go here. And I think you took a picture and it was like you in a bathroom somewhere in the city. And I was like, I love this girl's vibe. She's so cool. Emma goes, wait, I follow her. Like I saw her pictures come up too. And I was like, oh my God. This was back in like 2019.
No, this was like 2018, 2019 time.
2018.
Yeah.
Because
long time ago.
When I first found Paige, it was my first time ever talking to an athlete. And that athlete was in the same industry as like someone that you had been dating in the past. And so a lot of the times I feel like girlfriends like know of each other.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Very small world.
Very small.
You started coming up on like my explore page on Instagram. You like weren't an influencer yet. You had a like couple thousand followers and I was like, who is this girl? Like she's so cool. She has the most amazing vibe ever. Like you're just so pretty. So then I followed you and then we just started like messaging each other and we had some stuff in common and I was like, okay. And like, I remember I would like ask you for advice. Like I would go to you for advice.
We were
and
like pen pals.
Yes. Like we would text, we would reply to each other's stories. Like we would give each other recommendations for things. Like I'd ask you for advice and blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up meeting for the first time in Miami, like a few months, probably like 6 months later or something.
So fun.
So random.
So
when you were in
random,
Miami at the same time as us.
We happened to be in Miami at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm never in Miami. Like I've been to Miami, I think like 4 times since, like in my life 4 times. So that was so random. We also like met and like we had known each other for our whole lives. Like we
Yeah,
I know.
Like, hey, guys.
It felt so normal and so real.
Yeah.
Then we lived together.
Yeah. I feel like we're the type of people that like are so, not like we're bad at plans, but like we shoot from the hip. So like to pin us down is kind of tough sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're like so always hard. Doing something. And it doesn't mean we don't love each other. It's just like, I don't know what my weeks look like half the time, like where I'm going to be or what I'm going to be doing. So
when you and I lived together, it was like, I was already living out there and then you had come out for an event for
a revolve event for like 3 days.
Literally for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then you're like, nope, I'm staying. And then you stayed and we ended up living together for 3 months. And then after that, we like went back and did our thing.
Yeah.
And
wait, but it was so funny. I want to say when you guys followed me, I thought at the same time. I just remember, maybe this was like a dream, but like I remember like looking at, and I wasn't an influencer. I think I maybe had like 10,000, 9,000 followers. And I remember just like seeing Emma McDonald, Maggie McDonald, follow me. And I feel like I had heard your name, but I wasn't a YouTube watcher. And I was like, I clicked on your profile and I was like, oh my God, these girls are so cool. Like they just followed me. I was like, oh my God. I was literally like, I was so excited. I just loved you guys. And I felt like immediately when I followed you guys back, I was like, I feel like these would be like my people. I also loved that you guys were Boston. Like that to me was the coolest thing.
Yeah, because you were born here, right?
Yeah, I was born in Newton. So I love New England. So to see influencers that were following me that were so successful, because you guys were already big and successful and cool and had similar style to me, I was like, what? You inspired me kind of. Honestly, like it's interesting. You know, when you meet people and you don't realize like how they may have affected your life, because you don't think about it like that. But looking back, I definitely feel like you guys inspired me to like even start a YouTube channel and continue to be a content creator, because you don't see many people from New England doing it. You see a lot of people from LA and like those major cities doing it. So that definitely inspired me. So that's cool.
Oh my God, I never
I'm
knew
glad.
that.
I know. I never knew that either, but I'm glad that it did, because like you are so amazing and
Love you.
I love you.
While we're on the topic of like friendships and relationships right now, I feel like with your relationship, like you're very open about it. And you post your boyfriend all the time and you guys are so cute together. How do you deal with being long distance with him and just not living in the same city? I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
It's tough, but I honestly feel like he has such a unique job. So he's a professional tennis player and they have a really interesting season. They don't have an off season really, and they are in Europe for like half of the year traveling, and they're just always on the go. I didn't know anything about tennis, honestly, and how crazy their schedule is. But what's cool for me is that I'm now living in Connecticut in a slower paced town. And I feel like just kind of cool timing with it all, where I love being home and I love being here, but I also love that now I can go and travel with him and go to places that I wouldn't necessarily go and experience Europe and see and watch him and support him and have a home base that I really love. We're going to be like traveling quite a bit, which I'm excited about, because I feel like in your 20s is kind of when you're supposed to do that. Like I want a family and I want to have kids. So, and they also like retire at kind of a younger age. So I don't mind right now. Like we're doing our own thing, but I'm also going to be with him a lot. And when I'm here and I'm alone, I feel like I get a lot done and I'm doing my own thing and I'm riding horses and I'm busy. And then when we're together, we're like traveling or doing cool things. So it's working. And he's also just incredibly supportive and not toxic. So that makes it really easy. I've tried to do long distance and it just doesn't work sometimes when people are not evolved and emotionally mature. So I never like recommend long distance, but I think it's like situational. Since I have a business and I have my own life and so does he, like I think we both stay so busy and we both have such a healthy relationship that it works. But honestly, like Paige 2 years ago, I don't think I would be able to like have handled that. So yeah, I think you have to be honest with yourself and honest of where you're at. That's why it works for us. But it wouldn't have always been like that. And especially because he is so great.
I mean, I've never met him, but it just looks like you guys have such a healthy relationship. And it makes me happy for you, because I know that you've been through a lot and like you really deserve just to be with somebody who's going to be supportive and just love you. And I don't know, it just makes me so
my
happy.
mom and I were talking. Thank you. My mom and I were talking the other day. It's pretty crazy how like I wouldn't take away anything that I've been through and like any like loser that I've dated, like if it means that this is where I'm at. Like if I'm now like living this life like in this house with my boy, like having the boyfriend that I have and the life that I have and the friends that I have, like I would do it all again. And that's crazy because like I have been through like some awful relationships and just like been with bad people. So that's pretty cool, you know, like that's cool for me as like an adult now to like look at it like that. Like you have to go through it and you have to go through dating bad people and also like loving people and going through heartbreak and like moving on from things. And so yeah, it's cool that I'm finally in a place where I can be like everything that happened for a reason. So that's cool.
One of my favorite quotes is everything happens for you, not to you.
Oh,
and
I
it's
love
so
that.
true because people, I feel like sometimes when you're dealing with things in the moment, you don't realize like how much it's teaching you in the long run. And just to kind of be aware of it and just grateful for like all the ups and downs, because it really does lead you to where you're meant to be, because you're supposed to learn so many lessons and grow and change. And I swear,
Wait,
it
I
just,
love that quote.
brings
That's
you on the right
amazing.
path.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think that the worst thing that you can do to yourself is like, and this is something I also have had to learn, is like not feeling bad for yourself. And just like, you guys are all really tough girls, so I feel like you've probably also had to deal with this, but like not feeling bad for yourself, like picking yourself up and like keep it moving, and just like realizing that it's happening like for you and not to you. I think that's really important, because being a girl can be like brutal sometimes. So
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to do the Q&A?
and I'm so curious what people asked.
Oh my God. So I posted a question box on my story and got so many questions. Like it was flooded. Everyone is so curious and there's so many things that people want to know. So let's get into the question segment of today's podcast. All these questions were sent in by you guys and they were really, really good. The first one, we just have to get this out of the way. First of all, like I've been seeing this.
Okay.
This was like a very reoccurring question, and I've seen this question on TikTok. People have
I do
made
too.
TikToks about this.
Okay.
We've talked about this before, but we have to
Oh,
share.
I think I know.
How do you find so many hot men? Like, I just like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
I mean, I'm going to start off by saying, honestly, being an influencer does not hurt. First of all, it can reach a lot of people. And think about like all the girls that follow us, and like obviously girls talk about the girls that they follow and love. So you're like, I have a reach of amount of people, like a certain audience. And then I post photos of myself and my life, and it's basically like a portfolio for who you are and your style. And you're like, you know, like I'm posting my highlight reel essentially. So it's basically like a dating app. Like I think Instagram is like a dating app. Yeah, it's Instagram. Like it's Instagram. Also, now this is really interesting. Influencers are now like very much integrated in like the New York City fashion like space. Like these parties that I was getting invited to when I was living in New York, and the things that I was going to, everyone hangs out. Like for example, like dated a hockey player, they all go out to the same club when they come to the city. You know, it's a small place. Like whether it was a party or a club, like I feel like every year there are the cool trendy spots, and that's kind of where everyone's going. I'm also really good at putting myself in optimal positions to like, if I'm single and I want to be going on dates, like I have a roster and I'm like, no, for real. And I'm putting myself in the most optimal positions. Like I'm going out and I'm getting dressed up with my friends. Like I'm not feeling bad for myself. Like I'm going to be at bars, socializing, going to the parties, doing the things, and putting myself out there. Like I'm very good at putting myself out there. I also feel like, yeah, is that like a good answer?
No, that's a good answer, because
I feel like
exactly
you've seen me
like,
put myself out
that's
there.
what
Like,
you do.
I will go out and dance. Like
I'll
like do the thing.
Yeah, you do the thing. And
I
even
do the thing.
when we lived together in LA, like I saw you do the thing, and like
Yeah.
we did the thing, and it was just like
Mhm.
the people that we would see, the people that we'd hang out with, it was like, well, I never knew that I even was like had that reach until like you showed me that we do.
Yeah.
And then we did it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the power that it holds, that just like going to these places and like showing face.
Yeah. I think it's about like, you have to be social. You have to put yourself out there. And we were doing that in LA. LA is also so different and crazy because they're all house parties, and you end up showing up to these house parties and you're like, well, there's David Dobrik. Like, this is crazy.
No, there's
like,
literally
well, especially like when you're from New England, right? I also don't view myself as a celebrity. So
yeah.
the LA influencers and the LA YouTubers, like the OGs, are all like legitimate celebrities. Like whatever, like that's just LA is a little bit more Hollywood in that way. Whereas like the influencers, I think, do refer to themselves as celebrities, whereas we don't. So when we were in our space in LA, it happens to be with a lot of people. But like honestly, because a lot of people ask like, how do you pull like I've dated people in the public eye? I honestly would say like, don't do that. For me, like I don't even consider athletes are, but like I also don't really consider them like celebrities. And
their
I think
lives
they
are
would,
very
which I love.
private to an extent.
Yeah, and like I just like a dude. Like I like a normal dude, but like I like a dude who's really good at what he does. And I also like athletic people. So that's like my type, honestly. Like I like athletic, successful people, like so professional athlete. Like it's funny, like I did a YouTube video with my mom, and she like was like, I was like, Mom, what's my type? She was like brunette, tall, athletic. If you're a professional athlete, wouldn't hurt. Like that's a bonus, whatever. Just like basically like summed up who Tommy is. So it's like really funny. People are like, oh, here Paige goes again, whatever. I'm like, what? The girls don't allowed to have a type? Or even like Kendall Jenner being with some basketball players. It's really funny. It's like, I actually applaud her for it because she is a type and she's able to like pull these men. Like, I'm also like, I've never forced anyone to date me, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I have a type. If you want to like hang out with me, if you want to spend time with me and get to know me, then decide you want to date me, that's on them. And I think that that's not a lot of girls like would come out and say that. It's also really funny because a lot of these guys, and I'm not even talking about my boyfriend, but look at who a lot of these people are dating. Like my ex-boyfriend, right, who was a hockey player. His ex-girlfriend was like a model or an influencer. And so was I. So like, you know, like we're all in
They
the
have a
same
type
space
too.
and
Yeah.
like they have a type too. And it's not exclusive to a sport. I just like actually like people like who are athletic. Like I think it's
Yeah.
hot. So especially I think because I was an athlete and I think like Emma, you can relate to that. Like when you're at such a high level of a sport, I think you just like think differently. I often get along with girls really well who were on like we're on a team or who had to like work really hard and push their body to like that level, because I think it also creates like discipline and you just kind of socialize differently. So yeah, I just like went on a tangent. I don't even know what you asked, but yeah.
No, that was good.
Okay.
Next question. What is the most important lesson that you've learned this year?
Oh, this year, I would say not letting any like narrative dictate who you actually are. Because I think is in this space, you can like hear so many things about you and have people like tell stories about you that aren't true and like things that you do that are, and then you can let it like actually affect how you move and how you live your life, like subconsciously, because you're constantly like, they said this, they said that. Like I've completely like, I don't read anything about me online. I don't name search. Like I don't read a thing because honestly, it's none of my business. What other people say about me is none of my business. I think it's just really hard when it's written in words. And I think that like really took a toll on my mental health, my life. And then when I stopped reading and I like just focused on myself and like being the most authentic version of me and stopped like letting narratives actually like control my life and like also like acting differently because of what people were saying, like I became free. Like that's been my biggest lesson this year is like just like I can't let anyone like dictate or affect my life that like negatively.
I love
That's
that.
been like
and
a
I'm so
major
happy.
thing for me. Thank you.
Good. That's really, really good.
I think you guys also like can probably relate. Like you've been doing this since you were, you know, teens. So it's pretty crazy how much, you know, I even say like it's an emotional exchange reading comments, whether it's good or bad, just making sure that you're taking care of yourself in that way and making sure like those comments aren't like actually affecting your life. It's hard, but it's a skill that you can learn to do. And I'm still learning, but don't like self-sabotage. You can self-sabotage, you know?
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Although it's easier said than done, it's more of a reflection of the person who is saying things than it is you. Because
100%.
I could never ever picture being so obsessed with somebody and their life and picking apart every little thing that they do and sitting behind my computer and writing about it all day with hundreds of other people.
No, I literally couldn't.
You know what I mean? It's just like when you really actually sit down and think about it, it's the weirdest thing to me.
Like,
No,
go
it's
on a
really,
walk.
really weird. I actually think in a few years it's going to be illegal, and I think that
It
you're
should
not going to
be.
be able to post.
It should
yeah,
be.
I think that you're not going to be able to post things online without your IP address being attached to it. So when you say something, you say it with your chest, because I think a lot of these people like say things and say the most vile things because they can hide. Like, you know, they feel like they can almost like step into like another world and like be like, you know, like the kind of, I don't know, it's crazy, but I think it's going to be illegal because it's actually like, I actually think that like, you know, gossip is one thing, but then there's like harassment and
Bullying.
like
It's
stalking.
bullying.
Yeah.
It's like scary.
I feel like it's changed like this. I don't know. It's just changed so much. There's a space for people to like go online, and whether it's in like comments or like it's allowed, right? Like, why is this allowed? So I'm interested to see like how that changes, because the internet is pretty new. When you really think about, you know, how, you know, all of this, it's all pretty new. So I think that there will be laws about it soon.
Yeah, I think so too. But it's sad because it's gonna like something really major is gonna have to happen before there's a change. I feel like that it's always like that, but
which is sad. Like
it is sad. But anyway, on a lighter note, how do you have so much self-confidence? That was a question that got
A lot of
asked
people were
a lot.
asking.
I feel like the first thing I think about when people ask me that is that at a very young age, I was like celebrated for like my accomplishments, for like how hard I worked, as an athlete, and it was all about like how I performed and how hard I worked, and it had nothing to do with like my appearance. And I feel like I developed a personality before I developed like an ego about like anything. So when I walk into a room, my confidence really like has not that much like with the way I look. Like obviously I like looking nice, but I'm confident in who I am as a person and a partner and a friend, and then confident in how I look on the outside. And
well, I feel like it all stems from within. Like when you start, when you come off as like confident within yourself and like feeling good, like being who you are, that's when it shows on the outside.
Yeah. I feel like I take pride in like my heart and who I actually am. Like let's strip away like vanity and social media. If I had none of that, I know that I know who I am. And I've always known who I am, which I also think is a little bit maybe of a personality thing, but just like that I can go skiing and I can use my body and I'm like strong and I can like do things and do that stuff makes me feel like really confident and good about myself. And I like love my hobbies, and I love that I like to cook, and I have interests that are so outside of things that like anyone can take away from me. Like, you know, if you really think about like compliments that I get, that's like, oh, you're so beautiful and all these things, it's really nice. But the compliments that I love the most and that like feed me the most are things that have like nothing to do with that. And I think that just like making sure that you're taking care of like your like soul. I know that's cheesy, but like those parts of me. Does that make sense?
That's true. And it really shows through your content and your presence on social media that you have a lot of awareness like with yourself, and like you know what you want and you know what you like, and you just are very like authentic.
Thank you.
Last question. Well, there was a question on what inspired you to move out of the city, but I feel like you touched on that.
Yeah.
And when you were on Nantucket, you realized that.
Yeah, I saw my content. I was so proud of my content there. Well, because also that's looking at it in like my career perspective, you know, like career wise, I saw that I could do it. But I always think I could do it. I just think I had to believe in myself and follow my heart, because I had been not following my heart for a long time. And I think that was hurting me more than anything. I've gotten so many DMs since leaving the city of girls being like, I want to do this so bad. People make fun of me for moving back home during COVID, you know, etc. And I think that taking that step back actually isn't a step back, or like choosing a slower life is actually not. And I think Maggie, you can probably talk about this too, because like a lot of people I see ask you at these events, like, why haven't you moved to New York City? Why haven't you moved to LA? Like, you know, and you're just like, I'm good in Boston. Like, I like the quality of life here. And I feel like you've stayed really true to that, which I find really cool. Same thing with Emma. Like we've dabbled, but like you guys have never like truly left. So I think that's really cool. And you'll probably have so much pressure to leave. So like, it's just knowing what's actually good and what like will actually make you happy and like feed the good parts of your life in you.
Okay.
I'm scared. I thought that this one was so funny.
So this question is for both of you, and you guys each can answer this. But what have been your pet peeves with living with me?
Yeah, wait, okay. Emma, you were the easiest person to live with. This isn't even a pet peeve. This is just something funny. You like drink more water than anyone I've ever met. And you have like glass bottles around, like an array of glass bottles around the house. Like her car is constantly clinking and clanking because there's just like glass bottles like rolling back and forth.
And it's like the big, what's that brand?
But it's not even a pet peeve. That's just like love out. Like it's just like silly.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere without a water bottle.
I don't think I ever had a pet peeve.
You're very self-aware, Emma. Like you're very easygoing and self-aware. And like that's all. To be a good roommate, you just have to be self-aware.
Yeah.
I feel like you keep to yourself. You would like go in your room and do your thing. You know what I mean? You're not one of those roommates that like wants to sit on the couch and like be talking every second.
No, I'm not.
You're not like
at
the end of the bed, like, how is your day? Like, let's talk, like, blah, 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 like, let's go have a dance party in the kitchen. You're like, no, like, let me go to sleep.
Yeah, no, literally.
That is all that we have. Thank you so much for joining us, Paige. It was
Yeah,
so
of course.
fun.
Thank you guys. Thank you for, like,
let
letting me
everybody
talk. I
know
feel like I
where
talked for a while.
they can find you on social media.
So Paige Lorenze on everything, pretty much. And Dairy Boy is my brand if you want to check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I love you guys a lot. And this was fun. It was easy. Like, I feel like it's been an hour, but
I know.
Like 20
I know.
minutes.
That was great.
It was a lot of fun. And thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. And make sure to subscribe and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we will see you guys next week.